How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the two trades I took on SPY. Both were losers. We'll get into those in just a second. We're looking at the daily time frame here. You see we made all-time highs again, new all-time highs, setting ourselves up for an interesting end of the week tomorrow. We'll get into a few levels I was watching. So we had kind of a zone that was around the all-time high, around 514. Previous all-time high around 513.25 or so. We had this zone in here right along with yesterday's high day around 512. So we had yesterday's high day around 512, and then this zone from 512.1 to say 0.3. We also were watching low a day and pre-market low. We never even came close to those, so won't focus on that too much. I want to start by saying that the trades I took were pretty dumb. I was fighting against the trend, and it made me realize today after my losses, I think I highly doubt I'm gonna take a trade tomorrow. I'll be here streaming. I'll do a review and everything as usual. But I'm going to take this weekend to establish a clearer system. And that's something that I realized going into today, well, after my trading today, is that I'm just coming in a bit willy-nilly. You know, I'm drawing some zones, I'm watching for price action and volume, and that's all good and great, but I don't have a plan to say coming into each day. And that's been something that's really biting me. And that lack of a plan or lack of a structure today, I guess, allowed me to take a stupid trade that ended up being losing. So it went against the whole trend. It went against everything that makes sense. So I have no real great justification for the trades that I took today. And it just kind of made me step back for a second and realize what I'm doing, you know, essentially just wasting time and money by not having a structure, not having a solidified plan or rules to follow. I have slightly some rules in terms of targets for stopping out and taking profit and what I look for in price action and volume, but we'll go into my trade today and I'll kind of explain why it didn't make sense and why I really shouldn't have taken it at all. So to set that up, overnight, very bullish, right? We had some news, we had some data drop in the pre-market. Market reaction was very strong. Prior to the day even opening, we were clear above yesterday's high a day, came down and retested it, and we're pretty bullish. Whenever you're bullish in the pre-market, opening up above, so gapping up above the previous day's high a day, we're in a bull market, right? Price has been going up over time. There's no reason to fight the trend. So we were bullish. We opened up only, you know, less than $1 from all-time high. Pushed up, got a bit of a rejection here. Came down and tested this previous day high area, this zone that I was watching. Got a nice reversal candle here on high volume as well. Pushed up into this area, and I took my first trade, which was a put here. I mentioned earlier that these trades were stupid and I shouldn't have taken them. Everything is bullish. There's no reason I should even be looking for puts in this scenario. If I was to be trading intelligently, I would have been looking for longs. I would have been looking to trade with the trend. You know, this happened too quick for me. Ideally, I would have wanted to see some consolidation or something. I mean, we touched and reversed immediately. But that was a nice setup. That was a nice entry if you had some conviction with that. But there were nice setups the whole day, right? But let's get into it. So and I want to be a little tough on myself because it really makes no sense and I need to learn. I can't be repeating these mistakes. They're terrible, you know, elementary school type mistakes. We open up, we're trending up, we're above the 9 EMA. That's a good sign of a trend, right? Break down, hold yesterday's high a day, holding that, a gap up above the previous day's high, coming down, holding it, looking like a nice candle that's going to continue this bullish momentum, break back above that 9 EMA. There's no reason to take a put here, even though I have this zone here. And you do see that, we had a little hesitancy initially in the morning, but then broke through. We didn't reject from this zone prior. We did weeks ago or days ago, whatever it was. But this morning we powered through it, and then we sold back through. But we closed that gap essentially and still look like we're going to retain this bullish momentum. We're not making any lower lows. We're making higher highs, higher lows. Everything's bullish. There's no reason for me to take this put. So I don't know why I had a put bias. I don't know. I can't explain it. And that's what made me realize that I need to just change some things, And one of those things is, if we're bullish, if we're gapping up, if we're above all-time or previous day high, I won't even look to take a put. I refuse to. I don't care. I need to see a trend change. Everything's bullish. Everything's an uptrend. No way am I going to try to fight the trend anymore. And that's something that I promise that will be within my new structure when I develop it. With that being said, I'm ranting a little bit, but we do come up and wick this zone that we wicked into earlier. I have no real true reason to believe we're going to reject here because everything's still very bullish. We can take a look at the 1 minute. I'm not even going to bother. Well, yeah, I'll take it off. I just want to throw that EMA to show that we reclaimed it. Everything was bullish. Here's what I saw. So I saw a decrease in volume, and we were starting to form some upper wicks, and then we had that 5 minute candle close with that upper wick as well. So I got in on this candle. I stopped out when we broke above this wick here. First trade, whatever. It wasn't a good trade, but it was a small stop. I only had one contract. I didn't size into it, but we did come up and test kind of this previous high here, right? And we had a big bearish candle. We're still making higher lows. Trend hasn't changed. Still in an uptrend. And when we came up to retest, I took more puts here. Now, we kind of had some of this horizontal choppy action. We held that 513 whole number. We nearly bounced off it here. I guess same area that we kind of reversed here. We really touched it here and held it. I held through this chop and I stopped out on this candle here. My stop was above 513.5 right here. So kind of this price action in here where we had kind of consolidated and dropped before. I was looking essentially for this to happen again. I was looking for a double top. But it didn't happen. And I held these contracts through all this, and by the time I got stopped out, it was a bigger loss than it should have been. Those were the two trades I took. It was the same trade, essentially. I looked for a rejection here. Once we got back down below, I looked to re-enter. So I don't know why I had the conviction that I did to re-enter this trade after I already got stopped out. I guess it's because we failed to make a higher high here, and then we had this bearish candle. But maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on the 1 minute, Realistically, like, if you just look at, I'm gonna scoot this over. If you just look at even just this, why would I short that? It makes no sense, and I can't really justify it. I think I got caught up in the 1 minute chart and was just ignoring the overall strength of the market and trend, and there's no reason I should be fighting that. So like I said, I'm going to develop a bit of a system this weekend. One of those things is don't fight the trend. If we're trending up, if we're looking strong, if we're gapping up and we're holding the previous day high, we kind of close that gap and retain our bullishness. There's no reason for me to take puts there. And, maybe if I took that original put, thinking, oh, it's a lower high, we might reject like we did here. So be it. I get stopped out in a small position, but to re-enter that trade, it doesn't make sense. So And we were holding the 9 EMA on these as well. We had that 9 EMA around that 513 whole level. We have 3 consecutive wicks holding that 9 EMA and that 513 whole level. So really, 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 really not smart on my part. And it is what it is. You know, that was after that I realized I was just being dumb, and I stopped trading. I didn't take any more trades on the day. There were some nice setups. Yeah, I mean, you could have just longed any of these pullbacks. You couldn't have ridden the 9 EMA. I'm not going to throw it back up, but we held it here. We kind of held it in here. Broke above this zone, held this zone really well, right? This was previous all-time high. Broke above that and held it. Didn't close below it. So there were trades to take. And likewise, like, we can look at QQQ. QQQ, same thing, right? We didn't quite make all-time highs on QQQ, but very bullish. QQQ at least kind of broke below yesterday's high day temporarily, but like, would you short this candle? You shouldn't. And I don't know why I was thinking to short the market today. So ranting and rambling. I think it's just, you know, it's frustrating for me, but I'm not gonna quit. You know, I at least realized that it was dumb, and it's something that I can fix, right? Don't fight the trend. That's the biggest lesson from today, and that's what I'm gonna take into consideration as I move forward. Be patient. Don't fight the trend. You know, these are very basic things. So that's all I got for you today. Bigger losing day than I would have liked today. Just feel like my discipline was slipping. 3 days in a row of losing trades. It is what it is. You know, we're doing all right. It's just got to clean up some of that slop. It's expected, but I just hope not to repeat it, right? And I'm gonna try to, like I said, this weekend I'm putting in a system. I'm putting in a rule set, and I'm only gonna trade within those rules, and that should really help my consistency. But that is all I have for you. Thank you for watching. If you didn't learn something, congratulations, you don't make the stupid mistakes that I do. I trade live every Monday through Friday, so I'll be here tomorrow to close out the week. With that being said, I might not take a trade tomorrow. I might just watch around and just hang out. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.